Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight for Fulton-Montgomery Community College's Cannabis Program Information Session. My name is Christy Davis, and I'm the Director of External Partnerships and Applied Learning at the college. Charlene, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Charlene Davis. I'm an assistant professor of business, and I am the advisor for the CoCal Individual Studies program, of which we're going to talk tonight.
Thank you, Charlene. For our agenda this evening, we're going to talk a little bit about the development and the popularity of the cannabis programs at FM, which began about a year ago. We're going to talk a little bit about what is an individual studies program and what are the different certificates that you can pursue with FM, including Cultivation Technician, Quality Assurance Laboratory Technician, and Dispensary Management. We're also going to talk about our employer partnerships and on-site training. We'd also like to welcome Michael Dundas tonight to the presentation. And any next steps. So a little bit about Fulton-Montgomery Community College. If you've never been to our campus before, we invite you to give us a call and to schedule a tour. But we were founded back in 1963. We're part of the SUNY system, which is the State University of New York. We have approximately 1,700 students enrolled, and we have 57% female, 43% male ratio. Funny enough, in our cannabis programs, though, that's about the opposite. It has definitely been more of a male-dominated career path over the past year. We have a 19-to-1 student ratio, so we have nice small class sizes, and we have over 30 degree and certificate options, with evening and online options as well. Just a little bit about our history. So it was just about a year ago that New York State had finalized the CBB, the Cannabis Control Board, and we developed a new team on campus called the Business and Community Partnerships Team. This team went out to local employers to find out what is backyard in Johnstown. If you're not familiar with Vireo Health, take a look on Google or on YouTube. There's many videos of their manufacturing facility. They're currently undergoing a multi-million-dollar expansion, and they chose Tryon Technology Park because of its central location to the local markets that they serve. They had job openings with cultivation technician and lab technician, and they pride themselves on being a physician-led, patient-focused medical cannabis company. They formed back in 2015 in New York State. And again, they're undergoing a multi-million-dollar expansion. So we worked with them to find out what are the actual tasks that somebody working at Vireo Health would need to do and learn. What background are you looking for with applicants? We found that it was a lot to do with irrigation system knowledge, computer skills. And we said to them, well, we have some of these courses. We would like to work with you to get some of the hands-on training. And they agreed because they knew with an expansion, they were going to need to hire dozens, if not hundreds, of new qualified employees. So we developed this partnership where we chose classes originally with Vireo in mind, and they agreed to have students on site to actually do the experience part and get the on-the-job training, also very similar to an internship. And that was just about a year ago. What we have found in the past few months is there are many manufacturers within our region. We're happy to be working with E29 Labs, another facility. If you have not heard of E29 Labs, they will be moving into the Canajoharie Old Beech Nut site. Take a look again on Google or YouTube, and Michael Dundas will speak a little bit later about that as well. Curaleaf is in the Hudson Valley area. MedMen is in Utica, and there are several small businesses throughout the region that we're working for. I have to mention Upstate Hydroponics growers out in Ballston Spa, because they were also one of the first small businesses to work with us and to have our students on site. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Charlene Davis to speak a little bit about the individual studies program and the courses involved.
Hello, everyone. So I think the individual studies program is really something that's very unique. It combines the certificate programs that we've designed can combine 50% classroom training and 50% on-site training with people who specialize in the career field of your choice. So, and it's an individual studies program. The name really says what it is, because although in a few minutes, I'm going to share with you a sample curriculum that you might take. It's really based off of you as a person. What kind of background do you come with? What kind of skills do you already have? And together with that, we're going to make the right program for you so that you can be assured that you have the skills that you need in order to successfully be able to apply for jobs and hopefully get hired because you have the right skills for that job. And although tonight we're talking about our cannabis programs, we really have individual study programs in many, many different areas. So let me give you a little look at what one of the programs might look at. Could you change the slide? All right, so here's the Cultivation Technician. I'm going to tell you honestly, this has been our most popular program within the cannabis field. So here we have some classes for you in hydroponics, the biology of plants and animals. We're actually have another new course that we're offering this fall called the methods of growing from seed to clone. We have a cultivation policy and administration class that we'd also encourage all of you to take. In addition, we might have some other classes, computer application classes, and some other fundamental classes that you can take. And again, this is based on your own experience and what you need to make sure that you have those skills. Combination of those in-person classes on campus is the collaborative learning. If you look here, we have 16 credits, which the program is 30 credits that you do in a hands-on at a facility that will teach you those skills that you need about how to really in the cultivation, how to tend to plants. So career learning is a little different than an internship. People like to use the name, them simultaneously, but they're really not the same. Because in an internship, normally what has happened is a person has taken all of their classwork, they've done everything that they need to do to go out and be prepared to practice their skills, right? And the internship allows them to practice. Here, in a collaborative learning, our partners know that you don't have the skills and they're going to teach you those skills. So it's quite a bit of, it's a little different. Certainly as you progress through the learning experience, 8 credits worth, which is 180 hours per semester, at the end, you're really honing those skills that you were learning in the beginning. So it's quite exciting. And I find that all of our students really enjoy that hands-on part and they feel very prepared to go out into the workplace. Could you change the slide? Another one is our quality assurance lab tech. And obviously it says cannabis or dairy because we do in our area have both. But again, here we mix a group of classes that will help you gain the skills that you need and that hands-on learning. And so it matches. So each one, although they're a little different, they match the skills. And that career, that collaborative learning that you're going to be doing, that is on site. That is obviously here in the lab tech, that's what you'd be doing. You'd be doing hands-on extractions and such like that you would do in a laboratory setting. Our final one, which is the next slide, is the dispensary manager. And here in the dispensary manager, while you're obviously on site in a dispensary, learning the product and how to sell the product, you also need to understand how to manage people. And so you see that here, a lot of the classes that we have available are related to management skill, sales, and making, accounting, because obviously anybody who manages a dispensary or any kind of company needs to have some of those skills. So that's just a snapshot. And again, I want to make sure that you understand that this is sample. This is a sample. If you come here to FMCC and talk to me about this program, after my interview with you, we might make yours just a little bit different, but they do have the same components, usually 4 to 6 classes in the classroom, 2 16-credit collaborative learning program sessions for each. So that's it.
Thank you, Charlene. Speaking about our on-site training and our partnerships, I do want to mention, so this program has been active for about a year now. It was just about the spring semester a year ago that we discovered Vireo and heard on the news we were going to have some new sites in town. So our possible sites for students to choose from. This is just a sample list. We've worked with these partners. We've been working with E29 Labs quite a bit and meeting with them, but we have other sites as well. What you'll see here, for instance, Beyond Your Garden. We work with a lot of local sites, regular greenhouses and tree farms. So students have 2 separate sites of experience for this program to complete their certificate. Typically, you would not take the same site experience twice. You would have 2 different sites to really make you well-rounded. And you may have a preference as far as if you'd like to be in a corporate setting or a small business. So we try to work with you on that. The other thing I would say is that this is a program that you can start in the summer, the fall, or the spring semester. We do not have, this is not the type of program where you can only begin in the fall semester. It's very flexible, as are some of the courses and the way that we offer those. So to give you a little idea, we do have partners in the local area and beyond, and we are always continually trying to develop those partners. So thank you to all of those FM partners. And I'd like to also mention Upstate Hydroponics growers. They were one of our first sites as well about a year ago that's been taking in our students. And what I liked about this quote from Ryan Taylor is it really kind of sums up, I think, for me, the student experience. So he put on his Facebook page, he's always putting pictures of our students that are training on his Facebook page. And he said, while we aim for white roofs, sometimes they turn blue. I love explaining this to the interns and watching them absorb the information to help them grow as future leaders of our industry. So what I like about that is when you're a student on site, this is the time where you can make a mistake and you can find a way to correct those problems before you're actually on site in a hired employer, by a hired employer. So I thought that was kind of a good experience to share, that this is also a little bit of a trial as well. This is a great way sometimes for students to get into an employer and to have that little bit of a probationary trial where you can see if you're a good fit for the company and they can also see if you're a good fit. So we are hoping after this first year, now that we're going to have some graduates in May and August, that those students will be hired by corporate facilities, as well as maybe look into small businesses as well and gain that experience. So speaking of partners, I do now want to turn it over to Michael Dundas, the Vice President of E29 Labs.
Christy, thank you so much. I am still looking at the slide here. Is it possible to, there we go. Hey, everybody. My name is Michael Dundas, Vice President at E29 Labs. And E29 Labs is a company that we formed about a year ago, but as it said in the slides, we're probably not going to be operational for at least a year, maybe a little bit longer. We don't have a cannabis license yet. So unlike some of the other licensed partners that are participating in this program, E29 is actually an applicant with the state of New York. We're looking to apply for a cultivation and a processor license. And we hope if we get those licenses to build a relatively sizable indoor cannabis cultivation and products manufacturing facility. And so while getting a license is not necessarily a foregone conclusion, we've been doing everything that we can to try to make our chances as best as they can be. We're getting a lot of local support. You may have seen we've got a site. It's the old Beech Nut manufacturing site off of exit 29 off the thruway. And we've partnered with the county, Montgomery County, as well as the village of Canajoharie in trying to put our best foot forward on this application. I also think that there aren't a lot of sizable independent cultivator manufacturers that are applying yet in New York. New York has 10 large cannabis companies, medical cannabis companies. Vireo is one of them. But all of us are kind of doing the same thing. We're growing cannabis at a large scale, at a commercial scale, and we're taking those cannabis plants and turning them into products. But if I could just step back for a minute and just observe the fact that New York just passed its adult use recreational cannabis program back in March of 21 and hasn't licensed anybody yet, including the 10 medical companies, to do any cultivation or manufacturing for the adult use cannabis marketplace. That's all going to be coming in the next year or so. But what this legislation did do is it sort of signaled the opening and the rise of this brand new industry, which crosses so many different areas. And that's what we feel is so exciting about regulated cannabis generally, and why we're excited to partner with FMCC in this program, is because this industry involves not just the cultivation of the plants, it also involves lab work, the extraction of these plants. It involves culinary, cooking, and infusions of cannabinoid oils into a variety of different products. They could be edible products, they could be balms, tinctures, oils, sprays, almost anything that you can imagine can be infused with cannabis and turned into what we call formulated products. But there's also a bunch of ancillary businesses, lab testing. So labs that are not involved in the growing or manufacturing of any cannabis products, but they're out there as independent testing labs because all of the products that companies like ours are going to create have to be tested for their quality, for their potency, for their purity. And so there's a whole new industry really that's going to be growing in New York around cannabis product testing. And then of course, there's all of the stuff that's already been talked about, the horticultural shops, all the equipment and ancillary support for these businesses, the grow lights, the HVAC, the building trades, as well as all the professional services. So all of these companies need support by accountants and bankers and lawyers. And so there really is just so much economic activity that happens once adult use cannabis comes to a state. And all of that activity is potentially there for students to learn about and to ultimately participate in. Going back for a quick minute to E29 and what we plan to do. So my background is I started a cannabis company in Massachusetts back in 2012. And we built that business for about 5 or 6 years. Ultimately, we sold it to a national cannabis company. And now I've just been partnering up with the CEO and COO that we have for E29 Labs as my partners. And we're trying to do essentially the same thing that I did in Massachusetts here in New York, which is to basically build a cultivation and manufacturing facility. And so if you don't mind, I'd like to show just a 2-minute video that shows a little bit about what we did at that company. And it's a little bit outdated, but I think that all the information is the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here for a quick second. And hopefully you will be able to see this video. Can everybody see the video screens just black right now? Anybody?
Yeah,
okay.
It's black.
All right, here we go.
we see ourselves as a science-based company first and a cannabis company second. One of the things we're trying to do is to legitimize an industry that has suffered from a dramatic stigma in the United States for many, many years. To do that, our people have to perform at the best of their abilities every single day. We have to be better than a comparable industry. We have to be more compliant than a comparable industry. We have to produce better products than a comparable industry. The cannabis industry is an industry in transformation from an underground illicit economy to a legitimate regulated business. And so in order to help facilitate the legitimization of the cannabis space, what we're trying to do is apply tried and true business techniques, principles of management, principles of production to the manufacture and distribution of this commodity. We get data as feedback, we look at it, we analyze it, and then we apply it to the production process and distribution processes that we use.
Audio Jungle.
We put an enormous amount of investment into the production process because we understand that the products that we produce have to be consistent, safe, and effective for people. At our core, what we're doing is we're manufacturing cannabinoid molecules that act on the body in complex ways to produce therapeutic results. We're committed to the science of feeling better. The ability to perform extensive in-house testing at our production facility, coupled with third-party lab sampling, ensures that all of our products are precisely dosed, contaminant-free, and are consistently meeting our high standards of quality.
Audio Jungle.
Science of feeling better. The ability to perform extensive in-house testing.
So you could see from that video, it sounded like the audio was a little quiet, but at least it had subtitles there. You can see from that video that we do quite a bit of stuff in these facilities. So you saw a little bit of the cultivation room, saw a little bit of the lab, saw a little bit of the packaging and manufacturing space. But we do all that and more. And so we are super excited to be participating with FMCC. We're going to be contributing to their curricula a bunch of standard operating procedures, the types of things that we're looking for in employees. And really, just again, taking a step back, I think that one of the things that's so exciting about the cannabis industry generally is that it's so scalable. And what I mean by that is that you have very, very small companies all the way to big giant companies doing very complicated things like what we're planning to do. And you can really participate at any level that you feel comfortable, whether it's a tiny little mom and pop shop, a dispensary, or a grow store, or even a small little products manufacturing outfit, all the way up to these big multinational companies that do everything. And so it's an exciting time in New York, and we're happy to be a part of it. And again, happy to be contributing to this program, and certainly happy to take any questions if anybody has any. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you so much, Michael. And it's been wonderful to work with you so far. We're just so excited to have some new growth in this area, and to have the people in Montgomery County and Canajoharie as well to have those opportunities. So thanks again for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
And now I'd like to welcome Laura Laporte, our Associate Dean for Student Recruitment and Admissions, to talk a little bit about the admission requirements and process and any next steps. Laura?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Christy. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to all the presenters. Michael really, I think he hit the nail on the head. It's so exciting, and this is such a new industry, and I'm sure everyone who's on this is very excited to maybe get involved and be trained to join this really new and exciting opportunity within our community. So what I'm here to talk to you about tonight is how you can get started at FM. And I wanted to start off by explaining a little bit about the FM admissions process. FM is a University of New York community college, and as such, we have what's called open enrollment, which means that by virtue of having earned either a high school diploma or a GED, a high school equivalency diploma, you are welcome to be accepted to Fulton-Montgomery Community College. We try to make the application process easy, and there's no cost to it whatsoever. So if you're interested in moving forward and applying for the upcoming either summer session or the fall semester, you would simply go to fmcc.edu and you'll see an apply now button right on the home page. You're going to complete that application. And if you're interested in the cannabis programs, the program that you're going to select is Individual Studies Certificate. So that basically will put you on track to meet with Charlene to talk about the program. But again, you're going to use a free application for admission. The program that you're going to select is Individual Studies. You complete that application and submit it. And we are going to be in touch with you once we receive your high school transcript or your GED. So we need the application and your high school transcript or GED. When you submit your application, you're going to receive an automatic email that's going to give you the information as to how you can submit that information. We're going to match that up and we're going to accept you to the college. And typically what we'd like to do is make a phone call and reach out to you. If we can get you on the phone and kind of walk you through the next steps, would be our preference. If not, of course, we'll follow up with a paper acceptance, a text message, and email to let you know you've been accepted and again, talk to you about the next steps. With the Individual Studies program, there is a CoCal interview process. So we will also be including in our communication to you an application for you to complete. That information will go directly to Charlene Divis's office, and someone from her office will actually reach out to you to make that academic advising appointment. Before you can meet with Charlene, there's a couple of steps that you need to complete. One is we do need to have you complete what's called a writing sample, and we'll be sending you an online form to very easily write a very short essay. It's just a sample of your writing to help us place you into the correct class. The second thing that we need to talk about is that we are a SUNY community college, and this particular program would require on-campus classes. So students do need to be vaccinated against COVID-19 to attend on-campus classes, as well as the associated internships that are associated with this particular program. So we have access to see the vaccination records. So if you've been vaccinated, that's something that we can probably, if you're vaccinated in New York, we can pull up and confirm right then and there when we're going through the admissions process. If not, we'll just have you send us the card and we'll update records from there. Once you meet with Charlene, she's going to walk you through the process of registering you for classes. She talked a little bit about how it's really customized to each student, what your past experiences and what program you're interested in. So each one is going to be, as the program states, individualized to make sure it fits your needs. The admission team is here to help you with your financial aid, walk you through any other questions or issues. If you'd like to tour the campus, of course, we're happy to do that. And anyone in the office would be more than willing to talk to you further about this program, answer any questions you have. And of course, if you do have questions, certainly you could unmute yourself and ask those questions. You're also free to enter those questions via the chat. So if you're a little bit shy and don't feel comfortable, maybe doing it by unmuting yourself, you certainly can put it in the chat and we will respond to those questions. But with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your attention and for your interest in Fulton-Montgomery Community College. I'm going to turn it back to Christy.
Thanks, Laura. I did want to mention a few things that I was thinking about during the presentation. We do evaluate prior learning or prior credit. So if you are like many of our adult students that kind of look for a career, whether that's from another SUNY college, a private college out of state, or maybe you attended FM years ago for a different program, we can evaluate your credit. So if you already have some college courses completed, part of our job is to look over your transcript and to see what are the appropriate courses for you to take for a position in cultivation tech or lab tech or dispensary management. So that's certainly something we can do. We do also have students who start part-time. I would say it's definitely a mix of students that are seeking full-time full-time versus part-time. So if you are working, it is still possible to pursue a certificate program. Maybe you'll start with 2 classes, and maybe your experience will be in its own semester, so that you can balance work and family life. We do have quite a few adult learners, I would say, in this program. They're actually probably more in their 20s and 30s that are in this program than not. We also, I would say, have a variety of classes. So some courses are required. Charlene would go over that with you, but they can be in the later afternoons. They might be flexible to have some online options as well. So we do try to work with you as much as we can when it does come to that schedule. So with that, I would say if anybody does have any questions, please put them in the chat or raise your hand. Let us know if you'd like to unmute and ask. And again, if you'd rather follow up in a day or two, you can give us a call at 518-736-3622, extension 8301. That'll get you directly to our admissions office. Or you can email us as well at fmpartner@fmcc.edu. Charlene and I handle that email, so you'd get the advisor and the site placement person for that. If there are no questions, again, I just want to thank our speakers. Thank you so much, Michael, for your presentation and your video. That was fantastic. I think it's very important for our students to really kind of see, what the facility would be like and what the employment would be like. Thank you again, Laura and Charlene. And with that, I wish you all a great night, and please give us a call or follow up with us another day. Thank you. I do see there is a question in the chat. Will there be a copy of this presentation sent to participants? I believe we could probably take care of that because we have recorded it. Thank you, Stephen. Any other questions from anybody in the room? Going once? Going twice? Thank you, everyone. We'll go ahead and end, but please give us a call or send us an email at the college.
Thank you.